Ian, I'm the COO of Wildnet. I'm going to spend hopefully no more than 7 or 8 minutes. I think we've got to try and catch up on a bit of time talking about the journey that we've been through over the last 2 years or so. Before I get into that, let me just give you a bit of context, a little bit of an intro into who we are and what we do. Wildnet was formed 14 years ago. We're partly backed by private equity. We're about 40 people, and we have offices in the City of London and down in Brighton on the coast of East Sussex. We support the commercial insurance sector. We build, we host, we support specialist software for that market. That includes IP product that we've developed ourselves, as well as building bespoke solutions for our customers. We're an integrator and reseller for a number of third-party products like K2 for business process management, workflow, case management, and ClickView. Some of you may have heard of these tools, ClickView being a BI data analytics tool. Pretty much everything we do is within Microsoft Stack. And in January of this year, we launched a SaaS cloud-based version of our flagship product that's marketed at the managing general agents of the insurance market, a type of insurance company. And that's something that we simply wouldn't have been able to do before our partnership with Adapt. Separate to our cloud offering, we're finding that about 50% of our clients are asking us to host the solutions that we build for them. And I'd say that's about double what we were seeing only 12 months ago, and the trend seems to be continuing. And I think that's very interesting because it's evidence of the change in the way that businesses are thinking about the way in which they want to procure and manage the delivery of IT services to their users. So when I joined Wildnet 2.5 years ago, one of the first things I was faced with was a request to spend about £100,000 on a new SAN and a backup DR SAN. And at the same time, I was being made aware that our servers were either already at end of life or were soon to be reaching end of life. Even if we replaced all of those servers, we were not going to have the capacity of the business to enable a number of changes that we wanted to make in the way we operate to be more dynamic and more agile, and so on. So the bottom line is we were facing a significant new capital expenditure just to keep up at best. The infrastructure team had started to virtualize a number of servers, but it was not a strategic project. It was more like boys with toys. They were very reactive, very ad hoc, and the project was somewhat stuck midway through because of technical and funding constraints. Excuse me. Coupled with this, we had a lot of business risk. We were running all of our servers out of our server room in our London office, and our disaster recovery provisions amounted to simply shipping data backed up to tape off-site on a daily basis, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. We were winning a lot of business, but that was just putting pressure on the product development teams to multi-stream projects and deliver things faster, and our infrastructure simply could not cope with that additional demand. We were looking at opening our second office, which ended up being the Brighton office, and generally we were looking at ways to enable our workforce to be more mobile and more flexible. And finally, our hosted customers were becoming increasingly frustrated by the downtime they were experiencing through our previous supplier, who will remain nameless. And they were becoming increasingly demanding of improved service levels and also starting to talk quite actively about reducing the costs that we were charging them. So we wanted to do a lot to change our environment, and at the same time as doing that, we wanted to reduce our long-term total cost of ownership. So it was pretty clear to us that we were not going to be able to do this by ourselves. We made the decision that we were going to engage a specialist infrastructure provider. So we went through the typical and very comprehensive RFI and RFP process, and these are some of the key requirements that we laid out to the bidders. We knew that we didn't want to run any of our kit, any kit in our offices. We had a very clear requirement for a highly available solution. So we specified that the design should include an active-active model running across 2 geographically diverse data centers, aka the EVDC sort of model. For our hosted customers, we wanted to leverage a fully managed service, hopefully for obvious reasons. But for our own internal systems, specifically development and test environments, we wanted to retain a bit more control and agility. If we had longer to chat, I would tell you about how retrospectively I would potentially have changed that decision and approached it slightly differently, but that's the route that we wanted to go down at the time. It certainly has served us very well. So we needed very much a hybrid solution, a lot of flexibility in the solution. Our resource needs are fluctuating day by day, week by week, month by month. So we had a very clear requirement that we needed to be able to dial up and dial down our compute, power, and storage. So we needed very much the on-tap type model. We wanted to run on standardized, best-of-breed, pre-validated reference designs, terms that we've heard mentioned already this afternoon. We wanted to know we were on the best-of-breed technology. And we wanted to reduce our long-term total cost of ownership at doing at the same time. I think I might have said that already. Apologies. As well as meeting those somewhat generic requirements, the provider that we selected would have to bring a little bit extra to the table. A clear consideration for us in our selection process was that the partner that we selected would have to demonstrate superior technical expertise to the rest of the crowd. We wanted a team that we knew we would be able to work with to solve some pretty complex business issues with the available technology. Our business model was evolving, so we needed to be assured that the partner we chose would be able to flex with us, that they would have an extensive service portfolio to bring additional services to us as our needs changed. And we had to have the confidence that whoever we selected would be able to deliver dramatically improved service levels, operational and technical support to what we were experiencing thus far. And finally, we needed to be sure that whoever we went with had a very clear and evidential long-term commitment to ongoing investment in their platform. So this is the solution in a little picture, which I think actually Adrian drew for me many months ago. So the bottom half of the picture just shows represents the EVDC in a rather condensed format from the slide that we saw from Adrian. And that's where all our hosted customers are running on the fully managed service. And then the black boxes there are just representing our Blaze chassis that we're managing from the OS up. Those are hooked into the EVDC backbone network and storage as a service. All of that is within our own Wildnet firewall. So we've got a firewall even around our customers that are running on the EVDC. Not shown on this picture here is SRM, Service Recovery Manager, which we chose to use to manage the availability of services between the two sites. And on the right is obviously GS2, and on the left is Centrum, if you can read that. So finally, benefits. Did we meet our objectives? Well, we're pretty sure that we have achieved an 8-fold increase in compute power and double the storage with no incremental cost over what our run rate was before we started this endeavor. Crucially for us as a relatively small business and with the typical cash constraints of a small business, we were able to spread the capital expenditure of the investment in new hardware and software. And that's just related to the blades that we bought for our own kind of colo hybrid piece. We were able to spread that across the term as OPEX, which was a clincher for us, without a doubt. Our customers have experienced zero downtime, unplanned downtime in the last 18 months. So considering we were, I think, the first customer to go live on EVDC, even from day one, you might expect to get a little bit of downtime as things are bedding in. But from the very first minute that we were on the EVDC, The customers have had no unplanned downtime. The time to provision new environments has reduced dramatically. 75% is actually our metric for our internal environments, but for our customer environments, that's gone down from, I would like to say days, but it was weeks plus with the old provider, to far, far less than that. As a quick example, recently, in terms of provisioning, we were needing to refresh a UAT environment for a customer with a full copy of a production database. I was told by our SA that we didn't have enough space on the data partition. I said, how much more do you need? He said 30 gig. I said, have we got 30 gig anywhere else? He said, yes, but it would take me a while to figure out where to steal it from. How long will it take? Probably about 3 hours. I said, cool, adapt, get onto the service desk and just get 30 gig added to that data partition. And I swear within 15 minutes that 30 gig was there and live, and we were starting to refresh that environment with quite a large production database. So as well as those measurable benefits, our key requirements have absolutely been met. We've got a very robust disaster recovery solution in place through the near continuous availability of the EVDC architecture. We've undoubtedly reduced our TCO on a like-for-like basis, and we've got the increased performance and agility and scalability that we were very much looking for. So in summary, if you think back to my earlier slide about what I inherited when I joined Wildnet 2.5 years ago, an aging, creaking, non-scalable, expensive, inflexible architecture to where we are today with a modern, leading-edge, performant, scalable, cost-effective platform, then I think we've certainly achieved what we set out to achieve. And so when Adapt asked me to come along today and talk about our experience, it was an invitation I was very happy to accept and to share some of those thoughts with you.